Jianwu's resources were much higher than those of ordinary core disciples, so that's why they fought so desperately in the arena. Yang Chen thought as he watched the elder leave. When Yang Chen returned to his small courtyard, he found Jianwu very excited, fiddling with some items. Jianwu was so excited, he yelled, "There are so many things. I can't believe there are so many resources. And this is just for 1 year." With a puzzled look, Jianwu asked, "Bro, what is this time plate?" Yang Chen, also in a good mood, replied, "The time plate lets you enter the great training grounds. Mine lets me enter the 4 great training grounds for an hour each day." "What about you?" "Mine is half an hour." Jianwu still didn't realize how big of a difference it was between an hour and half an hour. "I've heard of the Demon Sword platform, but what are the other 3? Jianwu was very curious. Yang Chen also wanted to check them out. His resources had finally arrived. The 4 great training grounds are all unique. The Demon Sword platform is for tempering, and for training with swords. The Pure Flame Pool contains a terrifying pure flame. If a fire-based celestial Taoist can merge with it, their fire-based energy will transform. The Cloud Bone Valley can temper your soul power. The mysterious Great Collection Pavilion has hidden techniques. If you have enough talent, you can learn incredible techniques, and maybe even obtain innate spiritual treasures. Jianwu was shocked, realizing that he could only enter the Cloud Bone Valley and the Great Collection Pavilion. Actually, Jianwu had completely misunderstood. The Demon Sword platform was not just for tempering swords. He would have to experience it for himself to know. As for the Pure Flame Pool, although it had a terrifying pure flame, if you could resist it, it would be a great place to train your physical body. Although excited, Yang Chen knew that he had to accumulate training time first before going. The core and inner disciples who also got resources with Yang Chen and Jianwu were all excited. Some of them, like Qianling and Xiuling, immediately ran to the 4 training grounds. For an entire month, Yang Chen did not leave the altar area. Jianwu was responsible for everything else. For an entire month, Yang Chen stayed at the altar area, cultivating. But his Earth Core true energy was too difficult to improve. After a month, it was still in the first stage of the true martial realm. Moreover, the further you go, the harder it is to improve the earthly fiend true qi. A few days ago, Jianwu officially received the Non-Phase Sutra, making Yang Chen quite envious. However, Yang Chen was not in a hurry. He was even considered the first of the non-phase realm. The 4 cultivation stages of the Hotian realm were usually at the TH to TH levels. The so-called late bloomers could burst out with even more power. Early in the morning, Jianwu, holding his Dragon Ball club, arrived outside Yang Chen's training room. Seeing Yang Chen come out, Jianwu could not wait to say, "Bro, let's go. We have spent enough time cultivating. It's time to see the 4 great scenes." Before that, Yang Chen said, "Let's go to the Demon Sword stage first." Even the Onseveri 3-year academy selection is overshadowed by the Demon Sword stage. "Are you not curious?" Jianwu, somewhat unwilling, said, "Bro, the Demon Sword stage sounds like it's related to swords. Can I skip it?" Hearing is fake, seeing is believing. Yang Chen was unconvinced. The 2 brothers left, heading straight for the Demon Sword stage. Jianwu suddenly remembered something and whispered, "But, I feel something is wrong with Little Black. With the sword." Yang Chen didn't understand what Jianwu meant. "I feel a hidden powerful force within Little Black's body." Jianwu had been taking care of Little Black for some time, and he finally discovered something was amiss. Yang Chen was surprised and immediately thought of bloodline power. Could it be that Little Black has a powerful bloodline power that was triggered by the true martial sword emperor's energy? The more he thought about it, the more certain Yang Chen was. The true martial sword emperor wouldn't have gifted him a useless beast, and Little Black's teeth are too powerful. It can easily crush a lower-grade spiritual weapon. This proves that Little Black's teeth are much stronger than a normal beast. After a moment, Yang Chen nodded as they walked. "When we go back, I have to study him. It's possible that he has a special bloodline power that is sealed." Soon, Yang Chen and Jianwu arrived at the foot of a huge platform. The stone platform was very high. From the bottom, there were steps leading upwards. There were 1,000 steps. Whenever a core disciple of the sword sect stepped on the first step, the clock started ticking. It was said that if one could pass all 1,000 steps, something miraculous would happen. From ancient times until now, no one has been able to succeed. This was the Demon Sword stage. The first step of the Demon Sword stage had a sword monument, recording the names of the 100 strongest geniuses since ancient times. Only those in the Hotian realm are qualified to ascend the steps. In other words, anyone below the Zifu realm could attempt to ascend. Looking at the Demon Sword stage, Yang Chen was deeply shaken. He even recalled the moment when he saw the true martial sword emperor's true form. In Yang Chen's eyes, the Demon Sword stage seemed to transform into a giant being. With an immense aura, it was incredibly dangerous. The magnificent Demon Sword stage gave off an ancient aura, as if a giant had stood here since time immemorial. With respect, Yang Chen, like many other disciples, slowly approached the first step. There was a monument, covered with dense energy runes. Rank Donghuang Jia, steps. Rank Donghuang Tai, steps. Rank Donghuang Zun, steps. After carefully observing the monument, Yang Chen was very surprised. All the names on the list were from the Donghuang clan, and Yang Chen couldn't find the name of the current sect master, Donghuang Haocheng. Moving his gaze away from the monument, Yang Chen looked at the steps and determined that these seemingly ordinary steps contained a special power. Unlike Yang Chen, who was seeing the demon sword stage for the first time, many of the older disciples immediately flew onto the first step. These senior brothers didn't dare to waste any time, trying their best to ascend. They would only stop at their limit to start cultivating. Jian Wuk, equally shocked, finally came back to his senses and said, "Bro, they'll try it first." After saying that, Jian Wuk stepped on the first step, his face showing a strange expression. Unable to hold back, Yang Chen also stepped on the first step. A strange and somewhat unfamiliar suction force came from beneath his feet, as if trying to secure his feet to the ground. This suction was different from the power of the Earth Fiend when he entered the ancestral altar. It was very strange. Yang Chen was sure this was some sort of earth-based power. Immediately, Yang Chen sat down on the first step to cultivate. Isn't that Yang Chen? Why is he cultivating on the first step? Is he stupid? That kid is the new champion of the true martial realm. What is he doing wasting time on the first step? That's ridiculous. Even if he has more time, he shouldn't waste it like that. Yang Chen didn't expect that his actions would attract the attention of everyone at the demon sword stage. Jian Wuk, who quickly climbed to a higher step, was also curious, but he believed that his elder brother would not be doing something useless. That's right, at this moment, Yang Chen completely ignored the whispers, and while running the Kantian Jing, he began to refine the earthly fiend true qi in his dantian. The strange thing was, the energy in the steps was slowly absorbed into Yang Chen's body, merging into his earthly fiend true qi. With the help of this mysterious energy, the earthly fiend true qi seemed to be catalyzed, rapidly changing. In a short time, the earthly fiend true qi, which was only entering the true martial realm, had greatly increased in power. What is this energy? Yang Chen, who was overjoyed, was stunned. He knew how difficult it was to improve the earthly fiend true qi. He never expected that the mysterious energy that he absorbed through the Kantian Jing on the first step of the demon sword stage could quickly enhance his earthly fiend true qi. Unfortunately, after a short while, Yang Chen realized that even with his best efforts, he could no longer absorb any energy from the first step, and the faint suction from the sole of his feet had also disappeared. It's gone. There is a limit. With this thought, Yang Chen stepped on the second step. Yang Chen laughed as he felt an even stronger suction from the second step, as if trying to break his legs. It seems I have discovered a great secret. Yang Chen once again ran the Kantian Jing, absorbing all the mysterious energy on the second step. Because of this, the earthly fiend true qi reached the second level of the true martial realm. And so, Yang Chen, like an insatiable machine, kept ascending the steps. Because of the mysterious energy within the steps, Yang Chen's earthly fiend true qi had reached the 8th level of the true martial realm. The 10th step was different. Not only was the suction stronger, but as Yang Chen ran the Kantian Jing, he received a message. This message, containing an ancient aura, stated that this massive platform, 100 meters high with 1,000 steps, was actually a fragment of a spiritual artifact. The incomplete earth elemental rules and the properties of the spiritual artifact could indeed help cultivators of the Hotian realm strengthen their bodies, minds, and souls. The first 10 steps were suitable for cultivators at the body tempering stage. The steps from 11 to 100 were most suitable for those at the true martial realm to temper their bodies. From steps to steps was the range for those at the 5 Qi realm. Each step had its own immense pressure. Depending on the strength of the cultivator, the closer they were to the TH step, the more benefits they could obtain. There was even a chance of awakening a special bloodline power. As for the steps above, it was the stage for those at the heavenly realm. The information Yang Chen obtained was very shocking. This huge platform was not the demon sword stage, but rather a fragment of a spirit treasure. Yang Chen found it hard to believe that a mere fragment of a spirit treasure had such power. The Dragon Ball Club in Jian Wuk's hands was a complete spirit treasure. If its spirit appeared, who knew how powerful it would be? Yang Chen didn't know that spirit treasures had different ranks, and that the difference between spirit treasures of different ranks was like heaven and earth. Standing on the 10th step, Yang Chen paused to reflect. There were very few who came to cultivate at the demon sword stage with spirit weapons. Most of those who had spirit weapons were new core disciples. Most of those who came to cultivate here were at the 5 Qi realm, distributed between 2 steps. There were even multiple disciples on the same step. Starting from the 11th step, Yang Chen became cautious. He didn't dare to completely absorb the energy on each step. If the energy could not regenerate, and the suction disappeared, it would surely attract attention. Yang Chen was being cautious. This so-called demon sword stage, although only a fragment of a spirit treasure, was not something simple. Not only could it absorb spiritual energy from Donghuang Mountain, but it could also absorb the essence of the sun and moon. In a flash, half a day had passed. Yang Chen had sped up his progress, reaching the TH step. With the help of the mysterious energy, Yang Chen's earthly fiend True Qi had reached the peak of the 9th level of the true martial realm. He was overjoyed beyond words. In a good mood, Yang Chen stepped on the TH step. He saw Yun Xiaoyuan, who could not get onto the TH step no matter how hard he tried, and smirked. Junior brother Yun, it seems like it's hard for you to get to the TH step. Yun Xiaoyuan, wanting to tear Yang Chen apart, roared, if you're so capable, then you try to get up there. Junior brother Yun, I can take you up, but I'm a little short on cash lately. How much can you offer? Yang Chen was not beating around the bush. He didn't believe that Yun Xiaoyuan would not be tempted. The closer you were to the TH step in the true martial realm, the more benefits you would gain. Yun Xiaoyuan was skeptical and looked at Yang Chen. You know I can't be bought. He clearly remembered that 2 months ago, Yang Chen had swindled a lot of masters in Donghuang City, earning over 10,000 lower-grade spirit stones. Afterwards, several big shots of Donghuang City even filed a complaint with the Donghuang Mountain Law Enforcement Hall, but to no avail. But Yun Xiaoyuan was even more suspicious. Did he hear it right? Yang Chen said he could take him to the TH step. Was this guy crazy? Once one stepped on the demon sword stage, one could not rely on the help of others. Only through one's own strength could one climb upwards. If one tried to use others to climb, they would be attacked by the demon sword stage, resulting in heavy injuries or even death. Are you sure you can help me reach the TH step? Yun Xiaoyuan was curious, believing that Yang Chen did not understand the demon sword stage. If Yang Chen could carry or pull him up to the TH step, he would only have to pay spirit stones, but Yang Chen would suffer a disaster. This kid might die, Yun Xiaoyuan thought to himself. Pretending to be skeptical, Yun Xiaoyuan looked at Yang Chen and asked, is what you said true? Yang Chen nodded affirmatively. Afraid that Yun Xiaoyuan wouldn't bite, Yang Chen added, it's not expensive, only spirit stones. Without hesitation, Yun Xiaoyuan took out spirit stones and handed them to Yang Chen, his face full of anticipation. He wanted to know if Yang Chen would pull or carry him to the TH step. After taking the spirit stones, Yang Chen pocketed them and looked at Yun Xiaoyuan without making any other moves. After a while, Yang Chen broke the silence. Why are you still standing there? Let's go. Yun Xiaoyuan, who didn't understand, thought that Yang Chen was deliberately teasing him, and angrily cursed, Yang Chen, you dare to play with me. Yang Chen waved his hands and said sincerely, Junior brother Yun, you need to get on the steps yourself. Don't worry. If you can't go up, the spirit stones will be refunded. Before Yun Xiaoyuan could say anything, he suddenly felt a strange suction from beneath his feet. He immediately stepped forward, and he actually went up. After Yun Xiaoyuan was standing steadily on the TH step, he was still in disbelief. How did he get up here? Could Yang Chen really have some secret technique that could influence the attraction of the steps? After Yun Xiaoyuan landed, Yang Chen stepped onto the TH step as well. Obviously, Yang Chen's goal was not the measly spirit stones he got from Yun Xiaoyuan. His goal was to empty the other's pockets. Immediately, Yang Chen pretended to be shocked and said, Junior brother Yun, your martial talent is truly extraordinary. You were actually able to get on the TH step. Yun Xiaoyuan's good mood was instantly ruined by Yang Chen's words. He clearly heard that Yang Chen was mocking him, but the next words from Yang Chen completely shocked him. Junior brother Yun, from what I know, very few in the true martial realm can get onto the TH step. I predict that you are the only genius capable of it. Yang Chen continued, if you can successfully reach the TH step at the true martial realm, your name will surely be recorded in the annals and remembered forever. Yun Xiaoyuan tried, but his legs wouldn't move. Forget about getting onto the TH step, he couldn't even move a bit on the TH step. At this moment, Yang Chen lowered his voice and whispered, Junior brother Yun, I can help you reach the TH step. Really? Yun Xiaoyuan's eyes gleamed with golden light. Yang Chen smiled and said, Junior brother Yun, I come from a small, poor place. Unlike you, who are from a big family. I'm poor. He was clearly asking for spirit stones this time. How much? Compared to getting onto the TH step, Yun Xiaoyuan didn't care about the cost of some spirit stones. Yang Chen, who had been waiting for these words, said eagerly, Senior brother, how much are you willing to offer? Clearly, Yang Chen was determined to rob the other. How about? Yang Chen shook his head. What a joke. I wasted so much time and you offer me only spirit stones. Seeing Yang Chen's nonchalant attitude, Yun Xiaoyuan gritted his teeth in anger. But it wasn't the time to offend him. Yun Xiaoyuan pretended to be in a difficult position. Spirit stones are not a small amount. Can you at least? He chuckled, but Yang Chen glanced at Yun Xiaoyuan without taking him seriously. But Yun Xiaoyuan was not stupid, and understood Yang Chen's meaning. Yang Chen is my final offer. Yun Xiaoyuan acted like he was suffering a huge loss. Yang Chen, too lazy to deal with him, closed his eyes and started cultivating, driving the power within his dantian, as if he were deep in cultivation. Yun Xiaoyuan was now at a disadvantage. He looked up, his heart burning again. If he could reach the TH level, his awakened star martial spirit from 2 months ago would definitely improve. Moreover, Ling Shang will definitely be spreading the news, even about my elder brother, Yun Zhonghua. After a moment of silence, Yun Xiaoyuan gave up. Fine. Yang Chen, 1010. This is all I have. Yang Chen opened his eyes, a hint of mockery in his gaze. Ha! Senior brother, do you think I'm stupid? Is that really all you have? Immediately, Yun Xiaoyuan's face fell. He knew that even he wouldn't believe his own words. How could he, Yun Xiaoyuan, be a disciple of the top 5 families in Donghuang City with only 1,010? 1,000. Yang Chen, they'll give you 1,000 at most. If you refuse, then forget it, Yun Xiaoyuan said with irritation in his eyes. But Yang Chen was still not satisfied. He shook his head. Senior brother, it's 2010. Impossible. Yun Xiaoyuan rejected before Yang Chen could even finish. I think it's possible. Yang Chen smiled, acting like he had him right where he wanted him. Yun Xiaoyuan was on the verge of flipping out, but when he thought of the benefits of reaching the TH level, he endured it. Yang Chen, 2000 is too much. Can you give me a discount? Yun Xiaoyuan was now full of resentment. 2000. Yang Chen was firm. With a sigh, Yun Xiaoyuan reluctantly took out 2,000 low-grade spiritual stones. While handing them over, he threatened, Yang Chen, if you dare to trick me, there will be no place for you in the Donghuang Mountains. Yang Chen smiled noncommittally, not taking him seriously. If not for the spiritual stones, he would never waste a word on this waste. Seeing Yang Chen take the stones, Yun Xiaoyuan became anxious. Especially when he didn't make any action, he yelled, Yang Chen, hurry up and use your secret technique. The training time is very precious. Yang Chen chuckled, alright, senior brother. In a moment, Yun Xiaoyuan was stunned. He could actually feel that the gravity holding onto his feet had weakened. It was still difficult, but Yun Xiaoyuan could finally move, and with effort, he actually stepped onto the TH level. It's magical. If I hadn't experienced it myself, I would never have believed it. Following Yun Xiaoyuan, Yang Chen also easily stepped onto the TH level. Without even slowing down, Yang Chen easily stepped onto the TH level. At the same time, a golden light burst out from the top of the Demon Sword Tower. The golden light pierced the sky. The Demon Sword Tower was shaken, and disciples all over the world were either shocked out of cultivation or stopped in their tracks. Many senior disciples were stunned, then suddenly realized something and became serious, because they remembered a legend about the Demon Sword Tower. Legend says that anyone who climbs the Demon Sword Tower and reaches a limit will trigger the Demon Sword Tower's phenomenon. There were 4 limit times. The lowest is the 10th level for those in the body-tempering realm. The limit for the true martial realm is the TH level. For the 5 spirits realm, it is the TH level. And the final limit is the highest level, the TH level, for those in the heavenly realm. The first person to notice the phenomenon of the Demon Sword Tower was Donghuang Wankai. He immediately noticed Yang Chen standing on the TH level. Unlike Donghuang Wankai, many of the disciples who were cultivating on the Demon Sword Tower did not know Yang Chen. Who is that pretty boy on the TH level? He actually reached the limit of the true martial realm. He's so amazing. He's a rising star, a genius of this generation. He's so handsome. Sisters, don't fight me, he's mine. The first time I saw him, I knew he was my destiny. Yang Chen, oblivious to the burning gazes fixed on him, closed his eyes to cultivate. As soon as he stepped onto the TH level, a mysterious power flowed into him. The power targeted his dantian, specifically the demonic true qi. Not daring to be careless, Yang Chen guarded his dantian. He then realized that the demonic true qi, his beauty halo, was suddenly shaking as if excited. Soon after, the demonic true qi was infused with this invisible power, making it more transparent and pure. Then, an even stranger scene appeared. The demonic true qi transformed into drops that dripped down. The first drop was crystal clear, and in an instant, it turned into a small yellow bead and floated out of the dantian. Following his meridians, it entered his sea of consciousness. As the yellow bead entered his sea of consciousness, Yang Chen felt a heavy presence. He used his consciousness to touch it. Yang Chen was shocked. Is this really a blessing from the heavens? The yellow bead in his sea of consciousness was a unique, earth-based, unknown martial spirit. The guardian martial spirit is a relatively common one but is very powerful and practical. When unleashed, it would infinitely increase his defenses. Yang Chen's guardian martial spirit was awakened by demonic true qi. After studying it for a moment, Yang Chen, overjoyed, realized how powerful his new martial spirit was. Who could have imagined that he, in the true martial realm, would awaken the power controlled by a heavenly realm cultivator? Of course, his hidden martial spirit or guardian martial spirit couldn't be counted as a real martial spirit. The martial spirits used by those in the heavenly realm were totally different, but his was already something to be proud of. In a great mood, Yang Chen came back to his senses and realized that he had once again become the center of attention. It's true. I just can't seem to stay low-key. Yun Xiaoyuan, now on the TH level, gulped. He knew that Yang Chen had definitely gained great benefits after reaching the TH level. Yun Xiaoyuan looked at Yang Chen with expectation. He vowed, as long as you let me on the TH level, I am willing to pay any price. Yang Chen chuckled, Senior brother Xiaoyuan, today is not a good day. Not a good day. Yun Xiaoyuan was confused. Yang Chen said seriously, let's do it another day. I think that, well, looking at Yang Chen's hesitant face, Yun Xiaoyuan knew he was complaining that he had no money left. Yun Xiaoyuan immediately said, Yang Chen, I have a gold treasure pavilion second level pass. I have 3. Yang Chen chuckled. As a top student, Yang Chen also had a gold treasure pavilion third level pass that he could use to choose a cultivation technique or a martial skill. The highest quality martial skill stored on the second level is of the yellow rank, while the third level contains more powerful profound rank techniques. Yun Xiaoyuan hesitated for a moment before making an important decision. Yang Chen, I have an ancient treasure. When Yang Chen saw the item, he didn't seem interested. He thought that Yun Xiaoyuan, as a disciple of a Donghuang City noble family, should not be so poor. He wasn't really listening to what Yun Xiaoyuan was saying about the so-called ancient treasure. Yun Xiaoyuan had no choice but to take out what he considered his greatest treasure. Looking at the small banner that appeared in Yun Xiaoyuan's hands, Yang Chen gasped. Yang Chen's heart skipped a beat. He nearly rushed down from the TH level to snatch the banner. Yun Xiaoyuan held a small, exquisite miniature banner that was about the size of a thumb. The banner was bright red and appeared to be made of a mysterious material, emitting a faint, fiery glow. The moment Yun Xiaoyuan took out the miniature banner, Yang Chen's Taigu Mo Long Wuhan began to stir. Yang Chen knew that if it could trigger the Taigu Mo Long Wuhan, the banner was definitely no ordinary object. It's a treasure, a powerful treasure. Yang Chen pretended to be indifferent, saying, Senior brother, is this just a child's toy? This is an ancient treasure. Let me show you. Yun Xiaoyuan argued, the appraiser confirmed it. This banner is an ancient item. It is fire and water resistant, and swords cannot break it. What else could it be? Yang Chen said stubbornly, maybe it was a toy for a child from the ancient times. Yun Xiaoyuan was frustrated. Yang Chen, this banner is my most precious treasure. It's up to you whether we trade or not. Alright. Yang Chen pretended to hesitate. But you have to add something. A mysterious banner is not enough. It's really not enough. I have 910 spiritual stones left. Yun Xiaoyuan was fuming and finally saw how greedy and shameless Yang Chen was. Yang Chen said, okay. Since you are begging me, I'll give you a deal this time. But you have to remember that you owe me a favor, a big favor that you have to repay in the future. Yun Xiaoyuan, filled with hatred, handed the banner to Yang Chen and also the 910 spiritual stones. Surprisingly, Yang Chen went back to the TH level and whispered to Yun Xiaoyuan, Senior brother, you can go up now. Overjoyed, Yun Xiaoyuan suddenly noticed that the terrifying suction from below his feet was gone. Without hesitation, Yun Xiaoyuan stepped onto the TH level. But to Yun Xiaoyuan's dismay, no phenomenon appeared on the Demon Sword Tower after he reached the TH level. He didn't feel any substantial benefits either. What? Yun Xiaoyuan also reached the TH level. I'm sure that Yun Xiaoyuan's talent is stronger than Yun Zhenghua. This year's disciples are amazing. They're reaching the limit time one after the other. Although he didn't trigger the Demon Sword Tower phenomenon, Yun Xiaoyuan was content that so many senior disciples were paying attention to him. While everyone's eyes were on Yun Xiaoyuan, Yang Chen quietly left the Demon Sword Tower. He had only one thought now: return to the Huangtan Peak, cultivate and study the miniature banner. Yang Chen quickly returned to Huangtan Peak. After entering the secret room, he set the barrier before he took out the miniature banner. The moment the banner appeared, Yang Chen felt his Taigu Mo Long Wuhan shaking again. Yang Chen's eyes glowed as he studied the miniature banner. He used his divine sense to wrap around it. Strangely, it was as if the banner was dead, completely blocking his divine sense. Yang Chen did not believe it and tried various methods. He tried the Kantian Jing, his bloodline, Sun Qi, Lightning Qi, Death Qi, and Demonic Qi, but none worked. Damn it! This miniature banner is not a dead object. Otherwise, it wouldn't have triggered my Taigu Mo Long Wuhan. After trying various methods, Yang Chen had no choice but to summon his Taigu Mo Long Wuhan. Suddenly, before Yang Chen's dark vortex could form, the miniature banner flew into it. Yang Chen was stunned. It was the first time that his Taigu Mo Long Wuhan had devoured something on its own without his explicit command. With a bad feeling, Yang Chen dispersed his Taigu Mo Long Wuhan. All of his attention was focused on the main body of his Taigu Mo Long Wuhan. After devouring the miniature banner, the Taigu Mo Long Wuhan became quiet, unresponsive to his divine sense. Did it really eat it? Yang Chen, now full of regret, thought that maybe the miniature banner was just a snack for his Taigu Mo Long Wuhan. Not long after, Jianwuk also returned to Huantan Peak. The first thing Jianwuk did after seeing Yang Chen was excitedly tell him, "Bro, you've become famous. Many senior disciples are talking about you, some even from the heavenly realm. The higher you climb, the harder you fall." Yang Chen was not in a good mood. Suddenly remembering something, Yang Chen said, "Wuk, if only you hadn't advanced to the five spirits realm. The limit time for the true martial realm is the TH level. If you reach that level while in the true martial realm, you'll gain great benefits." "What benefits?" Jianwuk quickly asked. "On the TH level, I awakened a new martial spirit." Yang Chen didn't need to hide anything from Jianwuk. Jianwuk was curious, "Isn't your martial spirit the same element as before? And isn't it said that the demon sword tower can only awaken and cultivate one element?" "They're just guessing." Yang Chen lowered his voice. "The demon sword tower can awaken any martial spirit. But if you are on the limit level, the success rate is higher. Oh yeah, I also accidentally developed an earth element attribute. It's so annoying being an all-attribute celestial Taoist, so troublesome." Jianwuk rolled his eyes. He wished that he had the troubles of having multiple attributes too. Regarding cultivation, Yang Chen was now impatient. Now, among his four true energies, the Death True Energy, Thunder True Energy, and Earth Devil True Energy had all reached the peak of the 9th level of the true martial realm. Only the Sun True Energy was still at the 8th level of the true martial realm. However, among the four great training grounds of the Jian sect, there was one place ideal for cultivating Fire-type True Energy, and that was the Qingli Flame Lake. For 3 consecutive days, Yang Chen cultivated while trying to communicate with the primordial demonic dragon within his dantian. Unfortunately, every attempt ended in failure. Yang Chen had a strange feeling that the mysterious, finger-sized thing should still be there, not completely devoured by the primordial demonic dragon. After days of fruitless attempts, Yang Chen temporarily gave up on investigating the mysterious small object and turned his attention to the Qingli Flame Lake. Early that morning, Yang Chen and Jianwuk left their dwelling and headed straight for the Qingli Flame Lake. Currently, among all the Jian sect disciples on Mount Donghuang, Yang Chen was likely the only one at the true martial realm. The other newly admitted core disciples should have all reached the 5th level of the spirit realm. Yang Chen was placing his hopes of quickly improving his Sun True Energy on the Qingli Flame Lake. Furthermore, the Qingli Flame poison that everyone feared was nothing to Yang Chen. However, as Yang Chen passed through an entrance and felt the temperature rising sharply while going deeper underground, closer to the true Qingli Flame Lake, he started to doubt his confidence. He was unsure if the primordial demonic dragon could easily devour the Qingli Flame poison. In the underground passage, Yang Chen felt the air becoming increasingly hot, making him even more curious about the Qingli Flame Lake. Among the Jian sect's 4 great cultivation grounds, the Qingli Flame Lake was said to be the most special, because whether it was a new core disciple like Yang Chen, or an old disciple with high cultivation, or even the direct disciples of the Donghuang family, they were all treated equally in the Qingli Flame Lake. Each person had 1 chance a month to enter and cultivate, with no time limit. Meaning, if you were strong enough, you could even cultivate in the Qingli Flame Lake forever. In reality, it wasn't that simple. Because of the Qingli Flame poison, even those at the peak of the Heaven Origin realm did not dare to stay in the Qingli Flame Lake for too long. The Qingli Flame poison was unique. It didn't care about differences in constitution, strength, or cultivation levels of the Jian sect disciples. As long as one stepped into the Qingli Flame Lake, they would be constantly eroded by the Qingli Flame poison. The closer to the center of the lake, the more terrifying the Qingli Flame poison. After going through a long passage underground, Yang Chen and Jianwuk finally reached the entrance of the Qingli Flame Lake. After verification by the attending senior brother, Yang Chen and Jianwuk stepped into the Qingli Flame Lake. Instantly, Yang Chen felt a violent fire energy sweeping over him. He couldn't help but gasp. Jianwuk, seemingly unable to adapt, immediately activated his heavenly demon true energy to protect himself. To be accurate, this was an underground flame lake. Unlike normal flame lakes, the Qingli Flame Lake was much larger, too big for Yang Chen to see the end at a glance. Moreover, the surface of the Qingli Flame Lake was covered in many red-hot rocks. These rocks, of different sizes, had been transformed into training platforms. Even before truly entering the Qingli Flame Lake, Yang Chen could feel an invisible, violent fire energy constantly invading his body. This strange energy had a terrifying destructive nature, threatening to melt his flesh and blood. It was as if everything in his body was fuel for this strange fire energy. This was the Qingli Flame poison. Even with Yang Chen's physical strength, he couldn't withstand it. He had to activate his Sun True Energy to temporarily suppress the Qingli Flame poison that was invading his body. Yang Chen also noticed that many disciples were flying out of the Qingli Flame Lake with terrible complexions, looking very disheveled. It seemed that these senior brothers, after cultivating for a long time, couldn't endure the Qingli Flame poison. Little Wuk, the Qingli Flame poison is no joke. Be careful. After reminding Jian Wuk, Yang Chen flew toward a training platform not far from the shore. After landing gently, Yang Chen's expression changed. Unlike at the shore, the violent Qingli Flame poison was now crazily invading his body. Of course, the fire-type spiritual energy here was incredibly dense. Without hesitation, Yang Chen activated his Sun True energy to suppress the Qingli Flame poison, while also running the Kantian Jing to absorb the fire-type spiritual energy. It was as if he was drawing the energy to him. The fire-type spiritual energy around the training platform began to stir. Even the red magma was swirling. Vast amounts of fire-type spiritual energy poured into Yang Chen's body and into his dantian. After being refined by the Sun True energy and the Kantian Jing, a surge of pure Sun True energy was released. Yang Chen's Sun True energy was visibly improving. Even more violent Qingli Flame poison invaded his body, becoming more and more intense. Who is that kid? Is he courting death? Haha, he's probably a new junior brother. He doesn't know how terrifying the Qingli Flame poison is. He'll suffer soon. What an idiot. He came to the Qingli Flame Lake with a true martial realm cultivation, and is even absorbing the lake's energy so recklessly. Yang Chen's intense actions disturbed the senior brothers and sisters on the surrounding training platforms. They didn't recognize Yang Chen, but could guess his identity. They looked at him as if he was a fool. Jian Wuk, who had also landed on a training platform, suddenly looked surprised, as if he had discovered something interesting. Ignoring Yang Chen, he immediately sat down and started cultivating the Hegemon Heavenly Devil Art. This attracted even more attention from the senior brothers, because since the Qingli Flame Lake's creation, this was the first time a non-fire-type celestial Taoist had come to cultivate there. Am I seeing things? Senior brother Shishir, that dark-clothed guy is from the dark attribute. What's he doing here? That kid must be crazy. He came here to be tortured, to endure the Qingli Flame poison. He's probably a new recruit. He just reached the 5th level of the spirit realm. While everyone was looking at him, Jian Wuk was frantically absorbing the Qingli Flame poison. He realized that the Hegemon Heavenly Devil Art could transform the Qingli Flame poison into a type of fire energy, reinforcing his Heavenly Demon Hegemon body. Overjoyed, Jian Wuk realized that his Heavenly Demon Hegemon body, which was incredibly difficult to cultivate, was slowly improving, a truly unbelievable discovery. Unlike the senior brothers and sisters who were mocking Jian Wuk, Yang Chen clearly noticed that Jian Wuk had an excited expression on his face. As time passed, the gazes of the senior brothers and sisters outside the Qingli Flame Lake turned from ridicule to surprise as they looked at Jian Wuk. They couldn't believe how a dark-type cultivator was able to cultivate in the Qingli Flame Lake. They couldn't imagine that a new disciple who had just entered the 5th level of the spirit realm could withstand the terrifying Qingli Flame poison and persist for half a day in the Qingli Flame Lake. Even the most talented geniuses of the Jian sect who have reached the 5th level of the spirit realm could hardly last more than 12 hours in the Qingli Flame Lake. Unfortunately, those Jian sect disciples cultivating outside the Qingli Flame Lake did not know the answer. Most of them were at the spirit realm level and rarely stayed more than half a day when they came to the Qingli Flame Lake once a month. Because of that, Yang Chen, who was even more eye-catching than Jian Wuk, was not gaining as much attention. Yang Chen didn't have time to pay attention to Jian Wuk either. The Qingli Flame poison in his body had already accumulated to a terrifying level. If he didn't deal with it soon, he would be completely disintegrated. But Yang Chen was not afraid. While forcefully suppressing the Qingli Flame poison with his Sun True energy, he also activated the primordial demonic dragon to unleash his devouring power. Just when he was about to manifest his primordial demonic dragon, Yang Chen exclaimed in surprise. At this moment, the primordial demonic dragon in his dantian, that little black dragon, started to move. More importantly, the mini black dragon seemed to have come to life, and opened its mouth. If it was just this, Yang Chen wouldn't be that surprised. But then, he saw a small, red object floating in the mini black dragon's mouth. The small object was surrounded by a radiant glow. Suddenly, the Qingli Flame poison that Yang Chen had been barely suppressing started to flow into his dantian uncontrollably. To be precise, the Qingli Flame poison was being drawn into the mini black dragon's mouth by the mysterious red object. In an instant, all the Qingli Flame poison inside Yang Chen disappeared. Then, the primordial demonic dragon closed its mouth again, returning to stillness and silence. Even though Yang Chen tried to communicate with the primordial demonic dragon, he didn't receive any feedback. Despite the shock, Yang Chen was certain of two things. The mysterious small object he had obtained from the Cloud Middle Garden had not been completely devoured by the primordial demonic dragon. Secondly, the mysterious small object seemed to have gained the recognition of the primordial demonic dragon, establishing some sort of symbiotic relationship. Furthermore, the mysterious small object that was with the primordial demonic dragon could devour Qingli Flame poison. Suddenly, a thought came to Yang Chen. If the mysterious small object absorbed enough Qingli flame poison, would it reveal its true form, or perhaps, would it awaken some of its power? Yang Chen had a feeling that the mysterious small object might be a very ancient treasure, perhaps even a spiritual treasure. With that thought, Yang Chen abruptly stood up from his training platform. Amidst the surprised gazes of many senior brothers and sisters in the Qingli Flame Lake, Yang Chen flew towards the center of the lake. After landing on a larger training platform, Yang Chen ignored the shocked looks of the other cultivators and immediately started to run the Qin Tianjing, absorbing the fire-type spiritual energy. Of course, his true purpose was to allow more violent Qingli flame poison to invade his body. At the same time, a group of people, clearly having agreed to do so, entered the Qingli Flame Lake together. Leading the group was a beautiful woman with long red robes and black hair. Behind her were several young cultivators who appeared to be protecting her, all seemingly having feelings of admiration for her. The arrival of the beautiful woman also stirred the Jian sect disciples who were cultivating outside the Qingli Flame Lake. That's Zhuo Qiuliao. Zhuo Qiuliao is so beautiful. The exclamations outside the Qingli Flame Lake also alerted Yang Chen. He couldn't help but sigh in admiration. It could be said that in terms of beauty alone, this Zhuo Qiuliao was no less than Shen Lingxi. However, Yang Chen frowned as he saw the woman move. He could clearly sense the undisguised arrogance radiating from her. In Yang Chen's mind, he could even hear the voice of the Dongtu King from his memories, merging with the figure of this beautiful woman, making them incredibly similar. It was as if, wherever they appeared, they were the sole protagonists, and everyone else should look up to them. Yang Chen was not used to this, even if the person was an unparalleled beauty. However, after listening to the discussions of the senior brothers and sisters on the surrounding training platforms, Yang Chen was shocked. He had not expected that Zhuo Qiuliao, who was only years old, was so talented. Not only was she known as the #1 beauty of Donghuang City, but also the top genius of Mount Donghuang. Because Zhuo Qiuliao had reached the peak of the 9th level of the spirit realm, and was likely to break through to the heaven origin realm anytime soon, becoming a heaven origin realm expert at. Reaching the heaven origin realm it was unprecedented in the eastern land. In Donghuang City, the Zhuo family was undoubtedly the #1 family, far surpassing even the Yinzhong family. Especially after the emergence of such a peerless genius like Zhuo Qiuliao. The Zhuo family was at its zenith. If it was just strength, that would not be enough to shock Yang Chen. What surprised him most was the powerful bloodline aura he felt on her. Clearly, Zhuo Qiuliao was no ordinary woman. Her physical strength was exceptional, and she was definitely a dual cultivator of both qi and body. Moreover, Yang Chen suspected that she was carrying some powerful bloodline force within her. Zhuo Qiuliao, habitually scanning the periphery of the Qingli Flame Lake, let out a surprised gasp. A flash of astonishment appeared on her beautiful face. Sensing the change in Zhuo Qiuliao, Donghuang Tianming, who was behind her, stepped forward and asked in a gentle manner, "Junior sister, what's wrong?" Slowly raising her hand, Zhuo Qiuliao pointed towards the training platforms where Jian Wuk and Yang Chen were. "Look, senior brother, those two junior brothers are interesting." Following Zhuo Qiuliao's finger, Donghuang Tianming immediately spotted the unique Jian Wuk and Yang Chen. He was very confused. He couldn't understand why a dark-type cultivator with only the 5th level of the spirit realm had come to cultivate here. He didn't understand where a new junior brother with just true martial realm cultivation got the guts to step onto a training platform in the Qingli Flame Lake. Was he seeking death or just being reckless? Ha ha. Donghuang Tianming sneered after taking a look at Yang Chen. Several months had passed since the Demon Sword platform competition, yet the new junior brother was still at the true martial realm. Because of Zhuo Qiuliao, Donghuang Tianming didn't explicitly say Yang Chen was a waste, but his words clearly conveyed the same meaning. Gently shaking her head, Zhuo Qiuliao clearly did not agree with Donghuang Tianming's assessment. She continued to stare at Yang Chen's training platform, showing a strong interest. Anyone who passed the Demon Sword platform competition to become a Jian sect disciple was definitely not ordinary. Their talent was extraordinary. Once they joined the Jian sect and were aided by cultivation resources, the worst among them would break through to the 5th level of the spirit realm within a month. There were almost no exceptions. Clearly, Yang Chen was the exception, and he was being watched by the extraordinary Zhuo Qiuliao. "May I ask, what is your name?" Zhuo Qiuliao could not help but lock her gaze on Yang Chen's training platform and asked him. Before Yang Chen could answer, someone emerged from behind Zhuo Qiuliao and glared at Yang Chen. This person is Yang Chen, the champion of this year's Demon Sword platform competition. He's from a small, unknown place. Zhuo Qiuliao became even more interested and coldly looked at Yun Zhonghu. "So, it was him who took your champion position. And now, he's still just a true martial realm cultivator. You've truly embarrassed Donghuang City." Deeply humiliated, Yun Zhonghu did not dare to show any discontent towards Zhuo Qiuliao. He could only direct his hatred towards Yang Chen. He hated Yang Chen even more. Suddenly, Yun Zhonghu thought of something and a light flashed in his eyes. He lowered his voice and said, "He's extremely arrogant." The recent fuss regarding the Demon Tower incident was all started by him. Many large families in Donghuang City suffered losses, including the Zhou family. Zhou Qiuyao, who was always cold and aloof, chuckled. "He does seem a little interesting." With a flash, Zhou Qiuyao flew into the sky above the Qingli Flame Lake. As she flew toward the inner lake, she looked at Yang Chen. "Yang Chen, right. Come to the Seven Peaks meeting next month." After issuing an order as if it was a decree, Zhou Qiuyao no longer looked at Yang Chen and flew toward the inner lake. Impossible. Zhou Qiuyao actually invited that kid to participate in the Seven Peaks meeting. That's crazy. He's just at the true martial realm. How is he qualified to step foot in the Seven Peaks meeting? Including those who came with Zhou Qiuyao, everyone outside the Qingli Flame Lake was astonished. They couldn't believe that the prideful Zhou Qiuyao would invite a new disciple to attend the Seven Peaks meeting. It seemed like Yang Chen must have done something incredibly good in his previous lives to be favored by Zhou Qiuyao. Even Yun Zhonghu, who hated Yang Chen to the core, was dumbfounded. He couldn't understand why Zhou Qiuyao, who was the champion of the entire Jian sect, was looking at Yang Chen with such interest. What a pain. However, Yang Chen muttered under his breath, facing Zhou Qiuyao's back. Fortunately, no one heard Yang Chen's words, otherwise the entire Qingli Flame Lake would have revolted against him. Having not taken the matter to heart, Yang Chen continued to cultivate, running the Kan Tianjing, increasing his Sun True energy while continuing to absorb the Qingli Flame poison. In less than half a day, his Sun True energy had reached the peak of the 8th level of the true martial realm. The speed of his progress was extraordinary. Unknowingly, an entire day had passed. Aside from Yang Chen and Jian Wuk, the other senior brothers and sisters outside the Qingli Flame Lake had already changed twice. Jian Wuk suddenly rose from his cultivation platform, his face filled with joy. His demon overlord body had broken through to the 3rd layer. Feeling his incredibly powerful body, Jian Wuk even had the illusion that even high-level cultivators wouldn't be able to harm him. This feeling of immense power was exhilarating. With a slight movement, Jian Wuk left the lava lake and landed on the shore. His eyes involuntarily fell on one of the cultivation platforms. This cultivation platform was already the 3rd one that Yang Chen had chosen. Now, Yang Chen was preparing to get up and move further in, to choose a platform closer to the inner lake, because the spiritual energy around those outer platforms was becoming depleted. In just 2 days, the miniature black dragon form of the Taigu Mo Long Wuhan in Yang Chen's Dantian had opened its mouth 3 times. This meant that the mysterious little flame within the dragon's mouth had absorbed the spiritual energy 3 times, including this one. Feeling the vast amount of purified spiritual energy entering the dragon's mouth of the Taigu Mo Long Wuhan, and being fused by the mysterious little flame, Yang Chen felt extremely happy. His solar true chi had reached the peak of the 9th level of the true martial realm, and the mysterious little flame had also undergone a significant change 2 days ago. At this moment, the mysterious little flame in the mouth of the Taigu Mo Long Wuhan was completely ablaze. The unique flame looked like a tiny flag, red on the outside and purple inside. Yang Chen tried to touch the Taigu Mo Long Wuhan again. To be precise, to touch the mysterious little flame in the mouth of the Taigu Mo Long Wuhan. What Yang Chen didn't expect was that the moment his mind touched the burning little flame, he received an incredible piece of information. Nanli flame, the origin of fire. Bit by bit, Yang Chen fused with the origin of fire. Although the inherited information wasn't complete, it was enough. Even though he had some idea, he had never imagined that the mysterious little flame within the Taigu Mo Long Wuhan's mouth would have such an incredible background. The little flame was not some ordinary flame. It was a special kind of fire. Any fire attribute celestial Taoist would know that there were 10 original flames. The original flame was the origin of fire. There were 10 types, for example Yang Chen's solar true chi was a type of strong fire energy that derived from the original sunfire. And the original sunfire existed within the vast sun. It was not something that ordinary beings could touch. There were 10 types of original flames, and each one was the core of firepower. After a long time, Yang Chen finally came back to his senses. He still couldn't believe it. He couldn't imagine that the mysterious little flame in the Taigu Mo Long Wuhan's mouth was actually one of the legendary 10 original flames. Original flames had a spirit, they were so mysterious, how could an ordinary being control them? Yang Chen didn't feel any joy, but rather a sense of fear. Yang Chen, who suddenly liked mythology, knew many legends very well. Among those were many legends about the 10 original flames. But no matter what, the 10 original flames were a powerful force. They were so mysterious and not something that ordinary beings could touch. Among the 10 original flames, each one is incredibly terrifying, an ultimate form of destruction, the ultimate source of firepower. The Nanli flame was one of them. Legend says that even a tiny bit of Nanli flame was enough to destroy a world. It was because he knew the power of the Nanli flame that Yang Chen was terrified. He was worried. He worried that with his weak cultivation, he would be devoured by the flame. He was worried that he might not even be able to perceive it before he would be instantly burned into ashes by the non-Li flame. Even his Taigu Mo Long Wuhan was nothing compared to the non-Li flame. Yang Chen even doubted whether the true devouring dragon from the ancient times would be able to contend against the non-Li flame. Sadly, there was no regret in the world. If he had known earlier that the mysterious little flame that the old man had given him was the non-Li flame, he would never have accepted it. Yang Chen, who was now full of fear, no longer had the excitement from before. He had no heart to cultivate. He coldly spoke to Jianwuck and left. Jianwuck, who had been in a good mood, rarely saw his brother like this. He knew something big must have happened. Following Yang Chen's back, Jianwuck quickly followed, wanting to know what happened. Logically, joining the East Imperial Sword Sect was a great opportunity for them both, especially considering the great benefits. Jianwuck thought about Zuochoyo, who had been very enthusiastic about Yang Chen. Could it be that his brother was worried about her? That shouldn't be. In Jianwuck's memory, his brother had always been great at handling women. The more beautiful they were, the easier it was for him. Catching up to Yang Chen, Jianwuck couldn't help but ask, "Bro, did some senior sister make things difficult for you?" Coming back to his senses, Yang Chen looked at the curious Jianwuck and couldn't help but laugh. "Little Wuck, do you think him the kind of person who would be bothered by a woman?" Yang Chen mocked himself with a smile. He didn't care about Zuochoyo at all. His mind was full of the non-Li flame. Sadly, he couldn't find a way to get rid of the non-Li flame inside his Taigu Mo Long Wuhan. The only thing he was certain about was that he could no longer go to the lava lake, and he could no longer let the non-Li flame absorb its energy. The non-Li flame might completely destroy his Taigu Mo Long Wuhan. Yang Chen decided he must not provoke it anymore. Yang Chen's attitude clearly made Jianwuck very unhappy. "Bro, that senior sister is very beautiful. She's also very young, has high cultivation, and is very talented." Yang Chen could only laugh bitterly. "Little Wuck, no matter how beautiful or talented she is, it has nothing to do with us." Jianwuck didn't think so, he said. "Bro, I wasn't the only one who heard that senior sister invite you to her training cave. I think she's really interested in you." Jianwuck whispered, "Bro, if you really succeed, they'll keep it a secret from Ling Shi. But it probably won't stay a secret for long. Stop your nonsense." Yang Chen scolded, and started moving faster to leave this area. He needed to go into seclusion, and properly think about the non-Li flame. He had to find a way to get rid of this terrifying thing, even if it meant getting rid of the Taigu Mo Long Wuhan. At the same time, a major event was happening in the distant Eastern Land. A massive black cloud appeared over the capital city of the Eastern Land. A oppressive, chilling, and despairing aura descended from the sky, as if the capital city was about to be destroyed. The powerful cultivators, including members of the royal family, were shocked. They quickly rose into the sky, prepared to fight. The black cloud covering the capital city became larger and larger, more terrifying, and clearer. It wasn't a black cloud but a huge, terrifying black eagle. The eagle was unbelievably massive, with wings that spanned tens of miles. The massive black eagle was so powerful that it seemed like it could obliterate the sky. Even the old cultivators who had reached the 9th level of the Heavenly River realm felt terrified under the pressure of the black eagle. They were worried that they would be turned into food, eaten by the terrifying eagle. Because this massive black eagle had reached the nascent soul realm, even the Emperor of the Eastern Land felt an inexplicable fear. He felt an imminent sense of doom. It seems that today the Eastern Land will not escape this disaster. Seeing the massive black eagle, the Emperor knew what to do. In this critical moment, nothing was more important than saving his own life. As for the royal family, his descendants, it was the last thing on his mind. Even his favorite 13th son was now worthless to him. Just as the Emperor was about to abandon everything and flee, he noticed that there seemed to be a person on the back of the black eagle. The Emperor's body suddenly slowed down. Could it be that the black eagle was being controlled by someone? But the Emperor couldn't imagine what kind of being could control this creature. Could it be someone from the Eastern Plains? As his mind raced, he saw several figures descend from the back of the massive black eagle. They directly fell down. The first person was a beautiful woman wearing a black dress. "Yinghua, are you okay?" A figure quickly came to the Emperor. It was his 13th son. He looked at the beautiful figure and asked in disbelief, "Yinghua, is that you? Is that really you? Shut your mouth. How dare you call our young miss by her name?" Hearing the 13th prince, an old man behind the young woman angrily yelled, as if he wanted to kill him with a strike. The young woman, known as Yinghua, knew the old man's temperament. "Uncle Lin, don't hurt him. He is my friend, the 13th prince." The old man, with a displeased face, looked at the 13th prince. "You are the 13th prince. Your cultivation isn't bad, but you're not very talented." Confused, the old man looked at the young woman and said, "Young miss, is this the talented person you spoke of? We came all this way. Is this all we came for?" The old man was obviously disappointed. Uncle Lin. The black-clad woman smiled. You would never have imagined that although the 13th prince has only the 9th level of the Heavenly River Realm, his Dantian is already 7% self-evolving. He will surely be able to achieve the nascent soul realm while in the Heavenly River Realm. The old man was stunned when he heard this. He looked at the 13th prince again, a look of disbelief on his face. Even in the Eastern Plains, and among the major forces, it was extremely rare for one to achieve the nascent soul realm while in the Heavenly River Realm. Those kinds of geniuses were all famous super geniuses, and the core talents in the major forces. Miss, you are truly talented at finding such a rare genius. The old man was a bit excited. Such a genius was something that every major force in the Eastern Plains would compete over. If they could recruit him, it would surely improve the next generation of their Taihe sect. Master, young master. The emperor, who had been terrified, could tell that the black-clad beauty was no ordinary person, and it was clear that the person came looking for the 13th prince. The emperor quickly realized that the 13th prince must have met this person in the Eastern Plains secret realm. It seemed like they had a close relationship. If he could befriend them, they must be from some major force in the Eastern Plains. What the emperor didn't know, was that the old man didn't even bother to look at him. His eyes were fixated on the 13th prince. Young one, I am the steward of the 9th master in the Taihe sect. We sincerely invite you to join our Taihe sect. 13, quickly agree. The emperor, who was extremely excited, said loudly to his son. He had heard of the Taihe sect. It was one of the largest forces in the center of the Eastern Plains. If the 13th prince could join them, his future would be limitless. More importantly, as the emperor of the Eastern land, he would also obtain resources, and possibly advance his cultivation. The 13th prince was also excited. Although he didn't reply immediately, he looked at the black-clad woman with gratitude. He smiled and said, Inghua, I didn't expect you to have such an important status. And I'm excited that you came to see me. You must have never thought the Eastern land would be so desolate. With a self-mocking smile, he introduced his father to the guests and led them towards the palace. The terrifying massive black eagle soared into the sky and disappeared. Back at the East Imperial Sword Sect, Yangchen still didn't know that the Eastland's emperor was having a great celebration because the 13th prince had joined the Taihe sect. The emperor wanted to annex the East Imperial Sword Sect, and Yangchen was the perfect excuse. After returning from the lava lake, Yangchen had been secluded in his cultivation room for 3 days. This made Jian Wuk worried. After 3 whole days in seclusion, Yangchen still couldn't find a solution. On the contrary, he discovered something that made him feel despair. The Nanli flame was getting closer to the Taigu Mo Long Wuhan. They were merging. Yangchen knew that compared to the Taigu Mo Long Wuhan, the Nanli flame was too overbearing. It would completely destroy the Taigu Mo Long Wuhan, and eventually destroy him, because the Nanli flame was the ultimate power of destruction. As the master of the Taigu Mo Long Wuhan, he knew this but was powerless to stop it. There was nothing more despairing than this. This was hopeless. Because of the Nanli flame, Yangchen was emotionally distraught. He decided to temporarily set it aside. His 4 true chi and his Dantian, the Solar True Chi, Nether True Chi, Earth Demon True Chi, and Thunder True Chi had all reached the 9th level of the True Martial Realm. He had to break through to the nascent Soul Realm. After calming his mind, Yangchen began to activate his 5 souls in his Sea of Consciousness. A small black dragon appeared behind him. The miniature black dragon was similar to the Taigu Mo Long Wuhan in his Dantian, but it wasn't exactly the same. The 5 miniature black dragon shadows had blood-red claws, and gave off a violent, bloody aura. The aura emitted by his Taigu Mo Long Wuhan and his Dantian was completely different. It had an ancient and overbearing aura. What was strange was that the miniature black dragon that appeared behind him was different from others' 5 souls. It had 4 different auras. Fire, darkness, thunder, and earth. Yangchen activated the Nether True Chi, Solar True Chi, Earth Demon True Chi, and Thunder True Chi in his Dantian. They all rushed into his Sea of Consciousness, fusing into the 5 souls form. Slowly, the miniature black dragon form started to solidify, looking more realistic, as if it was about to come to life. In less than an incense stick of time, all the 4 true chi in Yangchen's Dantian had been absorbed into the 5 souls form. The 5 souls form in his Sea of Consciousness was becoming more and more solidified. It was a true miniature black dragon, full of life. It was no longer just a 5 souls form, it was the real 5 souls. At the same time, the 5 souls form that appeared behind him had also reached the maximum size. The 5 souls in the Sea of Consciousness kept fluctuating. The first one was dark with a cold and mysterious aura. The second was bright red, with a violent aura. The third one radiated a brown-yellow light. It was incredibly heavy. The last one gave off a violet thunderous glow. Not only was this 5 souls incredibly powerful, it was also very mysterious. Once unleashed, it would be able to give Yang Chen immense power. Just as the five souls was about to complete its formation, a flash of light suddenly shot out from Yang Chen's dantian, entering his sea of consciousness and fusing with his five souls. A crimson light entered Yang Chen's sea of consciousness, and his already formed five souls started to change. His initially stable five souls began to fluctuate again. What caught Yang Chen off guard was that he suddenly lost all connection with his five souls. Damn it! The formation of the five souls was either a success or a failure. The already formed five souls shouldn't have simply dissipated. But what was even more bizarre was that his five souls, previously a black dragon shadow, suddenly turned completely red. The five souls reformed themselves into a crimson banner. Seeing this, Yang Chen was stunned. He could sense a terrifying aura from the crimson banner, the aura of the Nanli Yuan fire that was originally in the Taigu Mo Long Wuhan's mouth. Under the extreme suppression of the Nanli Yuan fire, the fire, darkness, lightning, and earth energies that had formed the five souls were about to collapse and dissipate. Yet, Yang Chen's breakthrough was still continuing. The four energies in his dantian were absorbing the energy in the cultivation room, undergoing drastic changes. After half an hour, Yang Chen's breakthrough finally completed. But he wasn't excited, at all, because he couldn't be happy. Although he could sense the five souls, he couldn't control them. Even Yang Chen, who had read many myths, was puzzled and confused. It seemed no one before had ever been unable to control their own five souls. How can one be a five-soul cultivator if they can't control their own five souls? This wasn't even the main concern. What worried Yang Chen was that his five souls were now dominated by the Nanli Yuan fire, as if it were trying to abandon him, its true owner. Of course, there was some good news. At least, the Nanli Yuan fire inside the Taigu Mo Long Wuhan's mouth had disappeared. This meant that the Taigu Mo Long Wuhan was safe for now. But with such a terrifying presence residing in his sea of consciousness, it was simply too dangerous. Just as Yang Chen was leaving his cultivation room, he heard Xiao Hei's cheerful cries from the courtyard. Fine, I'll use Xiao Hei to vent my frustration. But when Yang Chen entered the yard and saw a familiar figure, his annoyance vanished. It had been a while since he had seen Ling Shi, and he missed her a lot. Ling Shi, Yang Chen called out. He quickly walked over to Qian Lingxi. He was mesmerized by her beauty. But Qiu Linger's cold snort snapped him back to reality. He realized that both Qian Lingxi and Qiu Linger didn't look too good. Their visit seemed to be about something serious. What's wrong? Bro, seeing that Qiu Linger was there, Jian Wuk didn't completely side with Yang Chen. Instead, he subtly reminded him, be careful. Be careful. What do you mean? Yang Chen was even more confused. What could be the connection? Qian Lingxi saw Yang Chen's confused expression, and felt that he was being evasive, so she got angry. Yang Chen, don't try to play dumb. The Seven Plum Summit is coming soon. Hearing this, Yang Chen's heart sank. He finally understood. They were here because of the Seven Plum Summit. In the Eastern Wilderness sect, almost every disciple knew the meaning of the Seven Plum Summit is coming soon. It was something that the #1 young talent of the Eastern Wilderness sect, Zhuoqiuying, had said. Her original intention was to express her loneliness. Among the powerful Eastern Wilderness sect, there is not one person worthy of my company. A feeling of unbeatable loneliness. Later, it became a code for the Seven Plum Summit. Every year, Zhuoqiuying would invite the talented young talents from the Eastern Wilderness sect to hold a summit at her Seven Plum Peak. But to every disciple of the sect, this was just Zhuoqiuying's way of flaunting her status. A few days ago, Yang Chen was personally invited by Zhuoqiuying to the Seven Plum Summit. The news had already spread across the Eastern Wilderness sect. Of course Qian Lingxi couldn't sit still after hearing the news, so she came to confront him. Yang Chen, his eyes darting, leaned towards Qian Lingxi, pretending not to understand. Lingxi, it seems you're in high spirits, making me seem like some sort of a playboy. Why don't we go out sometime? Hearing this, Qian Lingxi's face turned red, not letting Yang Chen continue to talk nonsense. Are you really pretending to not understand? Qiu Linger glared at Yang Chen. You're quite good at talking nonsense. Yang Chen, are you targeting Zhuoqiuying? Yang Chen shook his head repeatedly, knowing that this was a dangerous situation. Before explaining, he had to make his stance clear. Otherwise, he would face a disaster. The second step was to explain. Yang Chen said with a serious face, Lingxi, I swear, I have never met or even heard of this Zhuo senior sister. I don't know where that woman gets her arrogance, ordering me to attend some Seven Plum Summit like it's some decree. Really? Hearing Yang Chen's words, Qian Lingxi broke into a smile. No matter how much of what Yang Chen had said was true, it sounded good. Seeing Lingxi smile, Yang Chen was relieved. He quickly changed the topic. Lingxi, I've also broken through to the five-soul realm today. How about we show our five souls to each other? Okay. Qiu Linger was the first to agree, jumping up and down excitedly. It was clear that her five souls were good. Jian Wuk hesitated but didn't say anything. Actually, Jian Wuk wanted to reject Yang Chen's idea. He knew that Yang Chen had shown his strength in the Great Palace Pagoda, and his 5 souls was beyond comparison. If they all showed their 5 souls, he was worried that Xiao Linger wouldn't be able to take it. But after seeing the strange smile on Yang Chen's face, Jianwuk changed his mind. He realized that ever since they left the Great Palace Pagoda, Yang Chen had been acting weird, and it was likely related to his 5 souls. It was a good time to take a look, so they all went to the backyard. Once they were in position, Yang Chen looked at Jian Han, and lightly said, "Jian Han, your 5 souls is pretty good. Let us have a look at your pearl." Although Jian Han was the oldest among them, he was also the most gentle. Even though they were all friends, Jian Han was still a bit hesitant to show his 5 souls. But when he thought about his 5 souls, Jian Han started to look forward to it. It shouldn't be weaker than Yang Chen's. Everyone knew that apart from the legendary 5 souls formed from primordial energy, 5 souls were strictly divided into levels. Generally speaking, the 5 souls that cultivators formed were based on a powerful weapon or cultivation technique. For example, 5 souls formed from a royal grade weapon or cultivation technique were called Emperor Grade 5 souls. In both the Eastern Land and the Eastern Wilderness sect, most 5 souls cultivators' 5 souls were at the lowest level, yellow grade. Some cultivators with more than strong spiritual sense might possess a rare profound grade weapon or cultivation technique. If they used this as the foundation to form their 5 souls, they would have a good potential, and were called profound grade 5 souls. As for Earth grade 5 souls, they were extremely rare. Only those extremely talented geniuses, who had received a great opportunity, might be able to obtain an Earth grade treasure or cultivation technique.